Hey, have you ever felt the pressure to announce everything you're working on? To post your goals? To tweet your dreams? To tell the world what you're about to achieve before you've even taken the first step? It's become normal now. We live in a time where starting gets more attention than finishing. But let me ask you something. What if the silence was your secret weapon? What if the best version of you, your strongest, most focused, most disciplined self, was waiting not in the noise, but in the quiet? What if you didn't need the validation, the applause, or the recognition just yet? What if your greatness was growing underground, unseen, unnoticed, unstoppable? Think of the bamboo tree. You water it, you nurture it, and for 5 years, nothing. Not a single inch above ground. Then, in just 6 weeks, it shoots up 90 feet. Did it grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew in silence for 5 years, preparing, building roots, getting strong beneath the surface. That's what silent progress looks like. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The loudest in the room are rarely the ones building the deepest foundations. When you're truly locked in on your mission, when you're growing roots and grinding behind the scenes, you're not thinking about updates. You're not thinking about likes. You're thinking about mastery. Because while the world claps for noise, results are always quiet at first. Steve Jobs didn't announce the iPhone before it was ready. Kobe Bryant didn't live stream his 4 a.m. workouts. And J.K. Rowling? She wrote Harry Potter in cafes, broke in silence, before the world ever knew her name. So if no one sees you grinding right now, good. If no one's clapping for you, perfect. Because this is your building season, your root-growing season, your moment to become the kind of person who doesn't need to announce success. Because success speaks loudest when it's undeniable. Work in silence. In this video, we'll unpack 10 powerful lessons on why silent progress leads to explosive success, and how you can start practicing it starting today. Energy grows where attention goes. Have you ever noticed that when you focus deeply on something, your energy for it multiplies? That's because energy follows focus. Wherever your attention goes, your mental and emotional fuel flows there too. But here's the catch. When you talk too much about your dreams, your brain starts to feel like you've already achieved them. That's called the social reality effect. You tell a friend, "I'm starting a business," and they cheer you on. That praise triggers a dopamine hit. It feels good. Maybe a little too good. So good, in fact, that it tricks your brain into thinking you've done the hard work. But you haven't. You've just shared an idea, not built it. And now that motivation, it's gone. The hunger, diminished. It's like digging up a seed every day to show someone what you planted. It never gets a chance to grow. Lesson: keep your goals sacred. Not secret out of fear, but sacred out of focus. When you hold your attention on the work, not the applause, you fuel your growth. Every minute you spend explaining your dream is a minute not spent building it. Ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you feeding the work or the image of the work? Because where your attention goes, your future grows. Protect your attention like it's your most valuable asset. Because it is. Silence is strategic. When no one sees your next move, no one can stop it. This is chess, not checkers. Think of Warren Buffett or Steve Jobs. They didn't build greatness by broadcasting their every brainstorm. Silence isn't just humility. It's high-level strategy. When you keep your progress private, you free yourself from the burden of external judgment. You protect your goals from being dissected, doubted, or even derailed. Every time you share an idea too early, you open the door to other people's limitations. Not everyone will understand your vision, and that's okay, because it wasn't meant for them. It was meant for you. Imagine planting a seed. Would you dig it up every day to show the world it's growing? Of course not. Growth needs stillness. Roots need time and darkness to strengthen. Your silence is the soil. Your work is the seed. Your patience is the water. Some of the most iconic inventions, novels, and movements were born in months, sometimes years, of quiet, unseen work. The Wright brothers didn't live stream their experiments. J.K. Rowling didn't tweet her manuscript. They worked in the shadows until they built something that demanded light. Working in silence allows you to make mistakes without an audience, to refine, to pivot, to fail, and grow without commentary. That's powerful. And when you finally emerge, your work is undeniable. It's not up for debate. It's already done. So the next time you're tempted to post that idea before it's ripe, or to seek validation for something still in motion, pause. Protect your process. Guard your energy. Silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. Takeaway: don't announce what you're building. Build it. Let your masterpiece speak for itself. Let your results walk into the room before your reputitude. Don't announce what you're building. Build it. Let your masterpiece speak for itself. Let your results walk into the room before your reputation does. You don't owe anyone an update. We live in a world obsessed with broadcasting, with status updates, stories, timelines, and "what are you working on" conversations. But here's a powerful truth. You don't owe anyone an update. Not your friends, not your followers, not even your family. Your journey is yours. And just because people are curious doesn't mean they're entitled to your process. In fact, the more you share, the more room you leave for opinions, expectations, and even sabotage. Not out of malice, but misunderstanding. People project their fears, their doubts. You're allowed to grow in peace. You don't have to explain a chapter they weren't invited to. You don't have to justify your progress just because it's invisible. Some of the most powerful transformations are quiet, internal, invisible, and still they change everything. Silence isn't secrecy, it's sovereignty. Keep your mission close. Keep your updates sacred. Let your results speak volumes when they're ready. Because the world doesn't need your play-by-play. It needs your breakthrough. Quiet builds focus. In a world that constantly screams for your attention, quiet is not just rare, it's revolutionary. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Focus thrives in quiet spaces. That's why some of the greatest thinkers in history, Einstein, Newton, Da Vinci, worked in solitude. Not because they hated people, but because they needed clarity. Distraction is the enemy of depth. Every notification, every scroll, every conversation about your goals pulls you further from the zone. Silence, on the other hand, creates room to think deeply, work mindfully, and dream boldly. Think of your attention like sunlight. In silence, it's concentrated, powerful enough to burn through obstacles. In noise, it's scattered, warm but ineffective. When you stop broadcasting your moves, you reclaim that energy. You bring it back inward. That's when your mind sharpens. That's when creativity flows. The late Steve Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no. Saying no to noise, no to unnecessary validation, no to everything that doesn't align with your vision. Because the quieter you become, the more you can hear your own voice. And that voice, it's where genius lives. It's where alignment lives. It's where the next chapter of your greatness begins. Protect your focus like a sacred flame. Guard your silence like a secret weapon. Because in the stillness, you'll find clarity. And in clarity, you'll find your edge. Quiet builds focus. In a world that constantly screams for your attention, quiet is not just rare, it's revolutionary. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Focus thrives in quiet spaces. That's why some of the greatest thinkers in history, Einstein, Newton, Da Vinci, worked in solitude. Not because they hated people, but because they needed clarity. Distraction is the enemy of depth. Every notification, every scroll, every conversation about your goal. The late Steve Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no. Saying no to noise. No to unnecessary validation. No to everything that doesn't align with your vision. Because the quieter you become, the more you can hear your own voice. And that voice, it's where genius lives. It's where alignment lives. It's where the next chapter of your greatness begins. Protect your focus like a sacred flame. Guard your silence like a secret weapon. Because in the stillness, you'll find clarity. And every minute you spend talking about it is a minute you're not doing it. Action is the only real flex. Silence isn't about secrecy. It's about shifting your energy from explaining to executing. Look at high achievers. They don't make noise. They make moves. They don't post every milestone. They keep showing up. They let their consistency speak. There's a powerful quote, "Well done is better than well said." Think of athletes in off-season training. While the world relaxes, they grind. No posts, no hype, just sweat. So when the season starts, they dominate. Protect your energy from doubt. Your vision is a fragile flame in the beginning, and doubt is the wind that tries to blow it out. In silence, you protect that flame. Here's the thing. When you share your dreams too early, you invite energy that isn't always supportive. Even well-meaning people can plant seeds of fear. Are you sure that will work? Isn't that risky? No one's done that before. Those questions, they don't guide you. They ground you. Doubt is contagious. One raised eyebrow, one skeptical comment, one passive-aggressive remark, and suddenly, you're second-guessing what felt like certainty. That's why silence matters. When you're working on something big, something personal, the last thing you need is noise. You need clarity. You need alignment. You need protection. Silence gives you space to grow your idea before the world tries to shrink it. Build character, not clout. Clout fades, character lasts. In the pursuit of success, many chase visibility, the followers, the fame, the external recognition. But true greatness, it's built quietly, deep within. Building character means doing the right thing when no one's watching. It means choosing discipline over shortcuts, values over validation, and substance over style. We live in an era where it's easier than ever to look successful. A few filtered photos, a curated feed, a smart caption, and suddenly you appear to have it all. But here's the catch. Looking successful and being successful are not the same. The former is fragile. The latter is unshakable. Character is what carries you when the applause stops. It's what keeps you steady when no one's cheering. It's what drives you to do excellent work, even when no one sees it. Remember the story of the iceberg. What you see above the surface is only a fraction of what lies beneath. The depth, the strength, it's all hidden. That's character, and it's built in silence. It's built when you show up early, stay late, and go the extra mile without broadcasting it. When you practice humility over hype, when you choose integrity, even when it costs you visibility. There's a quote by John Wooden: "Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. Your character will decide how far you go and whether you stay there. So don't chase clout. Clout is currency that depreciates quickly. Character, on the other hand, is a long-term investment that always pays off. Build the kind of life that doesn't need to be flaunted. Let your legacy speak, not your likes. The quiet work of character will always outlast the noise of clout, because when the trends fade, the spotlight dims, and the world moves on, who you are is what remains. 9. Quiet keeps you humble. There's a quiet grace in choosing humility over hype. And silence, believe it or not, is one of the fastest ways to stay grounded. When you're constantly talking about your goals, achievements, or the next big thing, it's easy to start believing your own press. But when you operate in silence, you stay connected to the truth. You're still growing, still learning, still on the path. Silence is a mirror. It reflects your real motives, your true progress, your honest intentions. It strips away the performance and shows you who you really are. There's something deeply humbling about doing great work without expecting praise. It reminds you that your mission is bigger than your ego. It's not about being seen. It's about being true to the process. Consider the late Chadwick Boseman. He battled cancer privately while delivering some of the most powerful performances of his life. He didn't seek sympathy or validation. He let the work speak, and in doing so, left behind a legacy of silent strength. When you keep your progress quiet, you also avoid comparison. You're not performing for others. You're not measuring your path by someone else's applause. You're just walking, steadily, intentionally. And in that quiet walk, humility flourishes. Humility keeps you teachable. It reminds you there's always more to learn, that no matter how far you've come, there's still a higher level, a deeper understanding, a new challenge. It protects you from the arrogance that stops growth. There's an old proverb, empty barrels make the most noise. Real success doesn't need to announce itself, and it certainly doesn't need to scream. Let silence be your compass. Let humility be your armor. Stay grounded in who you are, not in who people think you should be. Because when you work quietly, you don't just rise. You rise with depth, with grace, and with lasting strength. Silence is strength, not weakness. In a noisy world, silence is often misunderstood. People think that if you're not constantly posting, announcing, or promoting, you're not doing anything. That silence equals inaction. That quiet means you've got nothing to show? But that's a myth, and believing it is a trap. Silence isn't weakness. It's power under control. Think of a lion. It doesn't roar at everything. It observes. It waits. It strikes only when it matters. That's real strength, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself with noise. When you stay quiet, you're not hiding. You're conserving. You're protecting your goals, your mental clarity, your drive. You're focusing on what matters, not on what's trending. Silence also shields you from unnecessary opinions. The more you share prematurely, the more room you give for doubt, criticism, or distraction. But when you build silently, your results speak louder than any announcement ever could. There's a certain freedom in not explaining yourself. You don't owe the world your every move. What you're working on, building toward, healing from, that can be yours. Private, protected, sacred. Muhammad Ali once said, "The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights." That's the essence of silent strength. The world celebrates outcomes, but the process, the grind, the discipline behind the scenes, that's where strength is truly forged. Don't confuse silence with weakness. It's the soil where strength takes root. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Let others chase the spotlight while you master your craft in the shadows. Because the quiet ones, they're often the ones building empires without saying a word. You don't need noise to be powerful. You don't need applause to be valid. And you don't need validation to know you're on the right path. Because real success doesn't scream. It whispers through your discipline, your consistency, your resilience. In a world that's addicted to the spotlight, choosing to work in silence is a radical act of self-trust. It's saying, "I don't need to be seen right now. I need to become." Every time you wake up early, stay focused, keep a promise to yourself, or push through without telling anyone, you're planting seeds. Seeds of greatness, seeds of change. The bamboo doesn't break through the ground until after 5 years of silent growth. But when it does, it shoots up at an unstoppable pace. That's not magic. That's preparation. That's patience. That's power. So keep working, quietly, consistently, intentionally. Let the others announce every move. Let them chase trends. You're building legacy. You're building strength. You're building something so solid that no noise is needed. You've heard it throughout this video. Energy grows where attention goes. Silence is strategic. You don't owe updates. Focus is born in the quiet. Growth happens out of sight. Less talk, more action. Protect your energy. Character over clout. Stay humble. Silence is strength. Now it's time to embody it. Start something today. And don't post about it. Make a move, and don't explain it. Keep building, and let the results do the talking. Because one day, when your work rises like bamboo, when your quiet discipline turns into undeniable results, when your silence becomes your superpower, the world will ask how you did it. And all you'll have to say is, I was working. Stay focused, stay grounded, stay powerful. And always remember, your silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Thank you for watching the Book Nook. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivational wisdom from timeless books and powerful life lessons. Your journey doesn't need a crowd, just your commitment. Until next time, keep growing quietly.